Good morning, Saints. Happy Friday morning. Thank you for joining me for this morning's devotional. So we're gonna get right into this thing, okay? Uh, as Christians, should we be involved in politics? Okay, my answer is yes, of course. But I like to use AI tools and go online and research and get a general outline and then I'll filter it and then the process, right? So let's read this real quick. So I asked AI, gave me an overview, and yes, Christians should be involved in politics. Many believe that engaging in the political sphere is a way to promote God's will and values in society and to advocate for justice and the common good. However, there are different perspectives within Christianity regarding the extent and nature of this involvement, including different views on partisan politics and the use of political power. Okay, so we're gonna read a couple verses that relates to whether Christians should be involved in politics. And like I said, me personally, I say yes. When I went online and look at the general consensus, it said yes as well. And so we're gonna back this up with with scripture. Okay, so see what the Lord has to say whether we as Christians should be involved in politics because you'd be surprised, there are a lot of Christians who feel like that we should not be concerned with politics and political parties, and I don't take that stance. Okay, um, so let me read this first before I really get off into it. So Romans chapter 13 verse 1 says, "Let every soul be subject unto the higher powers, for there is no power but of God. The powers that be are ordained of God." Powers meaning, in this verse, in this context, governments, okay? And it's saying that government is ordained and established by God. He raises up kings and he tears down kings. Nothing is outside of the control of God. And thankfully, we live in a country where we have a republic, where we can vote our government into office, and that's what makes the United States such a unique country because it is a we the people form of government. If you look at places like China and North Korea and all these Islamic countries, their people do not vote their government into office. The government uh, uh, put puts his own people and self into power. So thank God we don't live under that type of regime or governing forces. We, the people, vote our governing bodies into office, okay? And that's very important in a free society. So, with that being the case, as Christians, we should very much be a part of the political, uh, be attentive to the politics of the day because whatever governing body is in office, those policies affects our lives. Okay, now uh, I for a long time I didn't really pay much attention to politics like most people do, right? And it wasn't until Obama, and I voted for Obama. I got caught up in the hype of it all, first black president, blah blah blah. Okay, without even really doing any real research or seeking the Lord in the matter. I just went along with the wave like everybody else did. And and um, and then when I saw that he started bringing in uh, gay marriage and all this LGBTQ stuff, and then when I went online, this was sealed the deal for me. Now, in 6,000 years of recorded human history, no society on earth has ever legalized gay marriage. Think about that. Now, there were civilizations that used to throw virgins and babies off into the fire and some demonic worship practice. There's been the Roman Empire used to make sport of Christians, burn them and feed them to lions. I mean, there's been all type of wild and crazy societies that people were doing in their particular time, as a country. When you look at the in World War II, what the Germans were doing to the genocide of the Jews. I mean, so we've seen societies that have practiced some of the most evil, violent practices and things. And even in those societies, they looked at homosexuality as being a line that they wouldn't cross. They'll throw babies off into a fire and sacrifice to some wind god, but they wouldn't legalize homosexual marriage until Barack Obama did it in the United States of America. First time in 6,000 year human history. Now, in other societies and other times throughout history, it was decriminalized, right? Like in the Greek society and the Romans and stuff like that, they didn't legalize homosexuality, but they decriminalized it. They just turned a blind eye to it. Okay, that's not the same as actually legalizing homosexual marriage. And that's the first time in 6,000 year history happened here in the so-called Christian nation by our president. And so when I witnessed that, and then of course in victory of that, that's when he lit up the White House in the LGBTQ colors as a celebration. It was something I guess to celebrate. Never in the history of mankind has such an abominable thing been made legal. Think about that. So when I witnessed that, that's when I really got involved in politics and started paying attention because I began to see, okay, this is a demonic thing that's going on now, and obviously we have dropped the ball as Christians to allow such a blasphemous, abominable thing to take place right in front of our face. Okay. So yes, as Christians, as saints, we should absolutely be involved in the political scene of the country that we're living in. I'm not saying what particular party because see, our allegiance is to the kingdom of heaven, right? We are citizens of heaven. So I don't have no allegiance to the Democratic Party. I don't have no allegiance to the Republican Party. But what I will do is look at the policies of both those parties and make a determination on who I'm going to cast my vote for. Because whoever I cast my vote for, I'm coming into an agreement with that particular party and that policy. Okay? So I made a video the other day about how the Democratic Party is an anti-God, anti-Christ, anti-American party. And it is, absolutely. When you look at its policies, right? And I listed 10 things that I know is the Democratic Party platform. Just these 10 things I rattled off the top of my head, and every single one of these 10 policies go against everything the Bible stands for. Every single last one. Number one, abortion. Do we need to say anything more about that? The unaliving of babies in the womb is wrong. Period, point blank, full stop. There's nothing else to be said about that. Okay, and that was the Democratic Party's number one running message last year during the general election. If you remember during the DNC convention, they had a mobile abortion clinic on wheels. You don't even have to leave your house, ladies. We'll come to you to take the life of your baby. Number one, abortion. That was their number one running policy for the Democratic platform last year during the general election. Abortion. They try to cloak it, make it seem all nice. Woman's reproduction? No, it's abortion. It's the unaliving of the unborn babies. Yes, that's wrong. Number two, transgenderism is wrong. The mutilation of the human body, just that whole perverted lifestyle is wrong. It's against the word of God. Number three, gay marriage, wrong. Number four, teaching kids this in school, wrong. Number five, men and women's sports, wrong. Number six, open borders. Just let any and everybody come into this country, willy nilly. Don't even matter. Come on in, and then we'll just give you everything you want: health care, food stamps, money. That's all wrong. Number seven, defund the police. Lawlessness. You see it out there in California. You can just run the streets, burn stuff down, steal, loot, steal, kill, do whatever you want to do out there. Lawlessness. And then the Democratic Party wants to defund the police. That's wrong. All these policies that are Democratic policies are anti-Christ, anti-Christian, biblical worldview. It goes against what the Bible stands for. Number 8, welfare dependency. Wrong. That's the whole Democratic Party. Let us take care of you. We'll take all the money from the rich and give it to people who just come into this country and those who just want to just do nothing, don't want to produce. The Bible says if you don't work, you don't eat. But see, the government, the Democratic Party, they have set themselves up to be God. They want, so I'm not gonna get in that. Identity politics, wrong. Okay, yeah, identity politics. All because you're a black woman, you're black and you're a woman. Oh, then you get special treatment. What that mean? That's wrong. DEI. Diversity, equity, and inclusion is wrong. It's not a merit-based system. We should have a merit-based system, get the best and the brightest. But DEI says, okay, we got 2 women and 2 men. Now we need a transgender woman, a transgender man, and a minor attracted person to meet our quota. That's DEI in a nutshell. It's wrong. So these policies, these 10 Democratic policies, that platform, the Democratic platform, is goes against everything that the Bible stands for in our Christian faith. Absolutely, 100%. So that's why I say, if you're a Christian, how can you vote for the Democrats? How can you support that party? How can you support those policies? You can't. Not in good faith. It goes against what you say you believe. Okay. Now, one of my subscribers, we had a nice back and forth in the comment section. I appreciate the feedback. It was respectful. There wasn't nothing. We didn't get crazy with this. We sharing our opinions, and I welcome that. It's open dialogue is always a good thing, and so he went on to say that both parties aren't. I understand that. I'm not advocating for the Republican Party, but I am highlighting the demonic nature of the Democratic Party. Okay, and so Alejandro was saying that well, there are some good things from the Democratic Party, and just for the sake of argument, I'm gonna just say, okay, let's just say those are positives that Christians would say I can vote for the Democrats because of these few positives. Okay, gun control. If the Democrats had their way, then just this past Sunday, a gunman, because believe one thing, gun control only hurts law-abiding citizens. A criminal, if I wanted to go get a gun illegally right now, I can. So all the gun control laws in the world is not going to stop a criminal from getting a gun. It only hurts law-abiding citizens. So if the Democrats had their way, just this past Sunday when a gunman went into a church and meant to cause a mass shooting, there wouldn't have been a security guard, gun owner, to put that threat down. That gunman who would have still got a gun illegally anyway, and would have went in there and just had his way and would have had a mass shooting on our hands at a church. So gun control from the Democratic Party is not a positive in my book. Higher taxes for raising higher taxes is not the answer. More jobs is the answer. Okay, human rights and equality. Really, if we had a Christian based governing party, then we would have human rights and equality. Okay, climate control. Climate control has been the biggest scam in the history of mankind. Everybody knows this. So, but let's just say those are positives for somebody to say they can vote for the Democrats for. Those few positives do not outweigh these 10 negatives at all. Not at all. As a Christian man, I can't say, "Oh, well, I'm for gun control, I'm for higher taxes, so I could go ahead and forget about the abortion and transgenderism and gay marriage and all these other open borders." No. Come on now, let's use our brain with this, okay? If you are a Christian man or a woman, you cannot be supporting the Democratic Party with these policies. That's just simple plain fact. I'm sorry. And you either don't know the Bible, you definitely don't know the Lord and the character of the Lord. There's no way that Jesus will be accepting of any of these things. Any of these things, and that comes out of that Democratic Party. So if you are a Christian man or a woman and you've been voting for the Democrats, I beseech you as your brother in the Lord to really do your research and do some prayer and soul searching and look at this party for what it's worth. Okay, and I'm gonna end with this. I told this story before last year during the general election when I was sitting on the porch. This older black lady was walking the neighborhood and she saw me sitting on the porch, and she came up to me and we spoke, and she asked me, was I a registered voter? I said yes, ma'am. And she and then she asked me who was I. I said I'm voting for Donald Trump all day. And then she went on to say, well, this and that. So I said, excuse me. I asked her, I said, how old are you? She said she was 72. I said, okay, 72. I said, are you a Christian? She said, yes. I said, do you love Jesus? She said, yes, I do. I said, do you think abortion is wrong? She said, yeah, I think abortion is wrong. I said, do you think that Jesus would say that abortion is wrong? She said, yeah, I think the Lord would say abortion. I said, then why are you out here trying to get votes for a party that their number one platform is abortion, the unaliving of babies? Why are you trying to get votes for a party that's trying to increase abortion? And she went on to say, well, Donald Trump. That was her answer off top. Well, I said, wait a minute, Donald Trump, what? What does Donald Trump see? She has been influenced by the media, MSNBC, to think that Donald Trump is this monster that must be stopped. And so therefore I'm gonna set my faith aside. And I know abortion is wrong, but I'll go ahead and vote for a party that wants to kill more babies. I'm gonna call it what it is, because we got to stop Donald Trump. And I didn't even really go into, but I asked Donald Trump, what does he got to do with what you believe in your faith? I couldn't understand that. I said, you allow media to get you to hate somebody that's never done you any wrong. You've never met this man personally. You have no personal ought towards this person, but because you've listened to media influencers tell you, oh, he's bad, he's bad, he's bad, he's bad, he's bad, he's bad. And you're gonna lay your Christian faith aside because you got hate for somebody that you never even met a day in your life. That is the craziest thing in this world. But that's where we're at. And unfortunately, that's the state of the black community. They are the most easily manipulated and finessed race of people on the planet. It's just the truth. And so, yeah, that's why the Democratic Party has weaponized the black woman to do its dirty work. Okay, it's just the facts. Anyway, that's another conversation for another time. But yeah, that's the purpose of this devotion this morning. Yes, saints, we should be absolutely involved in the political arena. I'm not saying you got to pick one party, but you definitely should be looking at the policies, not the candidates. We ain't voting. This ain't the America's Got Talent show. You know what I'm saying? Whoever the candidate is, they're representing a party who has policies. I didn't vote for Donald Trump because of Donald Trump. I voted for Donald Trump because of the policies. He wanted to close the borders. He wanted to stop transgenderism. He wanted to take men out of women's sports. He wanted to stop teaching this stuff to kids. You see, all that lines up with my Christian faith and my biblical worldview. So I voted for Donald Trump because of his policies. I voted against the Democrats because of their policies. It's just that simple. Okay, men and women in the Lord, let's start being more intentional about the state of affairs that's going on around us. Because I'm gonna end with this. There was just a Muslim socialist that just won the primary for the mayor of New York, and if you do any kind of research, you'll see that this is not a good thing for New York or for the country. But this is where it's going. And if we don't pay attention, we're losing our country one election at a time, okay? And I want you to go check out Marcus Rogers, his latest video. It was a warning video. He really outlines what he sees going on with these elections, with these Muslim socialist elections. They've already taken over the UK. London is lost. London belongs to the caliphate now. Okay, and now they're working their way into the U.S. And so everything that we're seeing here in this country with all these different democratic policies that go against our biblical understanding is by design, and there's a demonic agenda behind it. That's just the facts, people. Okay, I'm gonna leave it there. Thank you for watching. If you found any value in this devotion, I just ask that you take 5 minutes and give it back unto the Lord in thankfulness. I pray you have a blessed and a wonderful day this day. I pray that your faith be increased this day. And let's be light and let's be salt.